first thing that really affected me was sitting on the floor at my house, and Ed Sullivan show was on. Ed Sullivan show, and it all comes Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley was on, and that was the show where they only shot him from the waist up. They wouldn't shoot him from the waist down. And I saw that, and I went out a few weeks later, and I got a guitar. I was about 9 years old, and I couldn't really play. I couldn't play it, So after a few months, plus my mother said, "Oh, you got to take guitar lessons." And at that time, the guitar teachers were like, they teach you standards and stuff like that. And that's not what I wanted to play, so I quit till I was about 14. And it was when around 63, I guess. Let me see, 64. And I just picked it up again and started to play. About 6 months later, got in a band, same old story. High school gigs, bars. And then I've been playing about 10 years, steadily. And I got that, and I got to see John Hammond, I met a guy in New York. He's my manager now, And culminated in us going to see John Hammond and him helping us get signed on to Columbia, Columbia Records. And that's about it. I guess initially, I'm going to bring this up here. Initially, I'd say Presley was the first influence, And after that, a lot of the 50s acts, Dion, I always liked Dion, And Spector, Phil Spector, and Ronnie Spector. And a lot of Stax artists, Wilson Pickett, Otis Redding, Sam and Dave, and some big band people, I dug some of the big bands. And, everything, I listen to everything. I listen to classical music, I listen to jazz, I listen to a lot of things,
But how did those people influence you?
I don't know, like Presley in the 50s sort of encapsulated for me a certain spirit that, when I listened to those records, I got to, and then the 60s came along, and I was, it was a big social consciousness, in here in America, and Dylan came along, and initially I got into Dylan just through the music and through his music. I mean, I heard it on, it was on AM radio. It was top 10, Bong, WABC. It all came like a Rolling Stone, and no, it's great. It's just great. It's great music, and then after that, I guess that was about it. That was about it, really. There's been lots of other people, I love, But,
and what let's say what meant rock and roll of the 50s for you? What?
I don't know. It's like I said, there was just a certain spirit, at that time, that was in a lot of those records. It was the innocence, was really captured in those 50s records. It was like nobody cared, and nobody did at that time, and there was no the only radio there was it was the AM radio more, for rock and roll, and there was no so-called underground scenes. There was nothing like that, and I don't know. To me, I listen to it a lot at home. I listen to a lot of those records, and because there's a certain purity and spirit and innocence that comes across like in a lot of those records, you know, like in Ronnie Spector's singing or any of the great records from that period, you know.
And do you try to capture that spirit in your music too?
Well, I don't really try. I just, you know, hope it's there, you know. It's like I don't, you know, something as evasive and as magical as that, you know, you can't really try, you know. It's like it's either there or it's not there, you know. And you know.
But let's go to another thing before I forget it about Dylan. You know, what do you think? Do you think those comparisons are right or wrong? You know. What do you think about it?
I don't think about it. You know, it's like if anyone, if you look, I think there was what happened in the beginning was there was a certain superficial similarity that a lot of people picked up on, you know. Hey, this guy's got a beard, or hey, you know. And the first album was produced more or less for the lyrics to stand out, you know, which is not exactly the way I wanted to do it, but it's the way it got done, you know. Which is okay, you know, and I think people picked up initially not knowing who I was, you know. They picked up on a few superficial similarities, and it got blown up, you know. But I don't think that's as big a factor as it once was, you know. I don't know if it was ever a big factor at all. It's mostly a media type thing, I think, you know.
Could you talk a little bit, which I would use in the biographical part, could you talk a little bit about your background, you know?
Screw up, you know, in like a small town, you know, ran away, messatized, you know, ran to New York all the time, and stayed there, and played in the Pt1 down in West Village, banged around down there for a few years, and met some people, and my parents moved away, and I stayed around here, and I just, you know, kept playing. I just played and hung around, and I went to high school, and that's sort of about it, you know. You know, that's basic. That's capsule, you know, version. You know.
What do you think about that you, in a certain way, you get so much coverage right now? Let's say critics respond to your music, and
I don't know, you know, I guess it's good, you know. I mean, I don't try to. It's nice, you know. It's nice. Okay, you know, it's dynamite, but I don't get hooked up in it or involved in it because papers are just papers, you know. And I don't know how much they influence people, you know. All I know, yeah, we get a lot of coverage, you know. We get a lot of reviews, you know. But you know, all I know is I still make $115 a week, you know. I still live in New Jersey, and you know, it's like, I don't know. The main thing is I'm glad, you know, I got a good band, and I can, you know, and I can have, you know, jobs to play and some things to do, you know, and I get to travel around and stuff. I don't know, you know, I don't know anything about the press or what, you know, what's going on with them, you know. It's just people. That's what they do. I mean, there's people that play, people, you know.
But I mean, suddenly you are, in a certain way, you are recognized, you know.
Well, I don't know if it's real suddenly. It's like 2 years ago when I recorded my first album. There was a big deal, you know, and then it cooled out and the record company cooled out on us and didn't want to promote our second album. And then they decided they did want to promote our second album, and we started to do a few, like we played in New York, you know. I hadn't played in New York in a while, and the band had changed a lot. It's like I don't know why. I'm getting better, you know. I don't know. It's like.
What was the reason why you didn't want to promote the second album?
I don't know. It was a million reasons, you know. There's like a million reasons and like no reason at all, you know. Just. Yeah. I guess it was a case of somebody just didn't believe in it, you know. Didn't think it was right. Because I was. It's just. It's business, you know. See, in the end, nothing. It doesn't matter, you know. Nothing. That's the funny thing people don't realize is that. All right, so you don't get promoted, and so this doesn't happen, and that doesn't happen. But in the end, it doesn't matter. And if you got music, if you got something, you know, the music and that's it, you know. It's like if you're gonna win, you're gonna win, you know. You're born winner, you're gonna lose, you know. And that's it, you know. If you're gonna win, you're gonna win, you know. And no matter what, like, yeah, we didn't get promoted, you know. Let's say the second album didn't get promoted, which it didn't at first, but it came out and it got a lot of good reviews in the press, you know. And so they couldn't keep it down, you know. It was like there wasn't any ads, but it was wrote about all the time, you know. So I don't necessarily even believe in ads, you know. I hate all those ads, man. I haven't seen an ad of mine that I like, you know. I mean, because it's just what it is. It's unnecessary. They hype you, and they don't have to, you know. They don't have to. It's like, you know, I suppose. I mean, not when they're dealing with a certain type of artist, you know, there shouldn't be any need for that whole hype attitude, you know. Like, there's certain people, if you're dealing with people who can't play, well, then you better hype them because, you know, they ain't gonna make it, you know. But if you're dealing with people, you know, who are in control or sort of, if you're just dealing with people who are good, you know, then it's not necessary because the music speaks for itself, you know. That's why it's unnecessary even for me to talk about any of this stuff because the music speaks for itself, you know. And there's nothing I can say that can possibly add or give any insight, you know, to it or nothing like that, you know.